Come on in. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's way too close.
Hi, how we doing? Sitting here enjoying a Bright Ideas on this lovely Tuesday afternoon. This Tuesday tasting, if you will. We are going to run through some beers with some friends of mine, and we're going to have a good afternoon. All these beers are being released tomorrow to Society's First, and then a good amount of these are actually going to make it to public as well. So we're going to talk about the beers themselves, what it takes to get those beers, and yeah, we're going to go over a couple general housekeeping things as well. Pretty exciting. We're expanding our delivery radius again, covering like a massive amount of territory in Southern California. So Downey, Norwalk, Bellflower, Lakewood, Cerritos, Santa Fe Springs, Rancho Palos Verdes, Hawaiian Gardens. You all have that to look forward to. You will be joining the rest of us. And yeah, I mean, we go as far down as Laguna and as far up as Santa Monica. So if you are in any of our delivery zones, hop in, man. Water's great. If you are joining preservation societies as well, we are doing a free drop-off for that. So go to thebrewery.com, check it out. We got some pretty sick beers in the box for this quarter. It's the SWA. We'll be talking about the SWA Reserve today. But SWA, our anniversary beer, NUL, our True anniversary beer, April Showers, and May Flowers. So yeah, check it out. All the information is available online. That is not why we're here. I figured I would start bringing the boys in one by one. So I'm going to give my friend Darren a call. Darren? Oh, there you are. Hey, do you want to talk about the beers, or should we go back to the hot dog sandwich debate? I mean, it was keeping us pretty busy before.
Probably makes sense to talk about beers. I don't know if hot dog sandwiches are going to take us where we want to go.
Okay. I guess not either. What do you? Oh, Peter, what's up, buddy? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Darren, and start bringing the rest of them in?
Sure. For everyone that doesn't know, my name is Darren. I'm the entitled VP Brewing Operations for the brewery. I help to keep our brewing team on track and look over the quality and expectations of all our beers, and it's the pleasure of my life to do so.
Awesome. Figured we should bring Andrew on. He's only over in Long Beach, but I can give a shout out to him. Andrew! I'm in Anaheim. You should be able to hear me. Andrew Bell! Oh, dude.
Oh, hey, what's up?
It's crazy that worked. What's up, man?
Yeah, not much.
Oh, you're also drinking a Bright? What's up? Whoop, whoop,
Yeah,
whoop, whoop,
right.
whoop.
Yeah,
Well, man, why don't you introduce yourself?
So yeah, I'm Andrew Bell. For those who don't know, I'm the innovation manager at the brewery and offshoot. Basically, manage the pilot system and get to play around with unique ingredients and work R&D for all the recipes. So yeah, fun job.
Love it. I was just texting Keith. He said he'd be on in just a second. So in the meantime, what do you think of this new Bright packaging? This thing's pretty badass.
Oh, what's up, dude?
Hey, you got my message? Sick. I'm glad that worked.
Got it, dude. Got it.
That's cool.
Drinking Bright as well.
What are the chances?
The one and only.
Good man. What do you do?
So I'm the production manager over at Bruers. So we make this fine beer. I make a lot of these fine beers, but glad to be part of the whole company, and we all produce great beers. So that's where we're at.
Sure. Hey, can you keep talking for 10 more seconds? I told Jeff to log in at 5:06. I actually wrote him a letter, but I did that last week. So hopefully everything works out. 5:54, 3, 2, 1. Jeff, we're rooting for you, man. 5:06.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, he made it!
Boom, there he is.
No way.
Coming at you from an
Dude,
undisclosed
that's crazy.
location.
Can you drink beer
man.
through that?
No. All right.
Didn't think so.
Don't try. What's up, Jeffy? How are you doing, bud?
Good, man. Doing great. Love you guys. Love being on here. Long time drinker, first time participant. So, yeah.
Welcome, Jeff.
Yeah, good stuff. And if you guys don't know, I'm Ryan. I'm the event specialist, and wearing a couple other hats in between because we're still unable to gather. But the day that we do, I promise you, it's going to be about as good as can be.
Yeah.
Boys, should we get rid of these brights and move on?
I'm just
We
gonna
got some crazy beers right here. Spontaneheim, I've heard of it. I'm sitting in Anaheim right now. I think this one's made for me.
This beer is perfect right now. By the way, in Southern California weather. I don't know if nobody's outside, but my air conditioning's not on. Perfect.
Between this and Spontaneheim, I mean, these beers both have like pretty unique packaging formats. The Spontaneheim being with a cork, I just got mine open before we started, but it might take a minute for people to get this thing open. Want to talk about what it's like shifting to packaging these beers, Steve?
Oh, sure. I mean, it definitely keeps you on your toes. We package, I mean, if you look at like Spontaneheim, like that's in its own unique package, so that creates a need for basically a new packaging line, which we did in-house, which is kind of exciting. Those are all hand corked, hand crowned, hand labeled, or not hand labeled, sorry, hand corked and hand crowned. So all the guys at Taru really kill it, and it's quite a bit of work to actually get these beers packaged. So if you've ever made wine at home or even bottled at home, imagine hand corking and crowning a sufficient quantity. It's quite a labor of love,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So there's I'm getting into my bottle now. These are corked, Keith.
Yeah, they're corked. So you need one of these bar keys, right? Or at least a wine opener.
Definitely.
I thought
This is one of the beers I had mentioned before that this beer will be available to the public this time around. This beer is available to the public on the 14th, but this one is available to our society members tomorrow, Hoarders and Reserve Society.
It was like my favorite sound in the world, right? Is when you pull a cork out of a bottle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear it, but
Yeah.
it's a good
And
one.
neither still tastes pretty great though. And I mean, even just to see like the production on this one is pretty crazy. One night in the back alley, I'm watching Rich, and he's holding the tank up, transferring it into another. It's, what the hell are you doing? Open fermentation. Never seen anything quite like it. Spawn pyramids.
Yeah, so this beer is pretty unique. I know we've had quite a few opportunities to talk about this beer, but honestly, this is a project that I think all of us brewing and also brewers around the world can honestly get excited about. Kind of respect. It's definitely a tougher beer to make, just in the fact that we don't add any yeast, so it's all wild yeast from Anaheim. We literally leave it outside for the yeast to inoculate the beer. And I know a lot of people listening might say like, well, that sounds kind of gross. It's in the middle of a city, but if you think about some of the best like spontaneous producers in the world, it's pretty much all in the middle of cities and city life. So there might be something to that. But yeah, so pretty excited about this. 100% bottle conditioned with the wild yeast, so we don't pitch any yeast at all during the whole process of this beer. So yeah,
Really
Yeah,
good. On the nose.
I think you raise a good point, Keith. This is I think the more romantic side is really in the spontaneous fermentation and what you guys do at Drew. But this was a good project on the work production side too, because there is a method that's respected and honored in producing the wort for these beers, and it's actually pretty important because it's all based around a little bit of history, right? So we're talking about pretty rudimentary brew houses and working around processes that are less than ideal a long time ago. So how do you get a modern brew house to recreate that process? And so that was a good project that we worked on. And for the, to really dive in a little bit, what we're really wanting is some unconverted starches here, because some of the things that come along with that wild inoculation of the wort will break down long chain sugars and things like that conventional brewer's yeast really wouldn't. And so creating that in the hot side process was really, we had some good healthy debate over the process too. But I think the way the beer's coming out, I don't know if I think we nailed it.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember the first couple times we tried to do it, we actually got conversion on the stuff we pulled off, and had to kind of adjust on that to try and get like the turbid mash actually turbid. But yeah, Keith, I'm kind of curious. What would you how would you sort of describe and talk about the differences between the 2020 version of this and the 2019 as far as both expectations and flavor and how the beers were put together?
Well, I think honestly, I think the first time you ever make anything, you're kind of definitely more anxious, more nervous. It's I hate to see like scared, but we were, it's just anxiety about like, we want this project to come across like perfect. And after tasting the first year, so 2019 version, it was absolutely what we wanted, and we thought we did a really good job with it. So we just try to replicate that in 2020. We didn't really change much, but the blending aspect. So we're definitely looking for, the funky notes, the variety in fermentation character. And I honestly, I think I'll just touch on this question here about the analyzing the yeast. So like we actually did send this off for sequencing. It's Darren's friend. I'm blanking on his name, Darren, but
Matt Bachman.
Yeah, Matt Bogman. He works for
University of Indiana.
Yeah, so he actually sequenced this and gave us a lot of information, and we're still kind of digging through that with our microbiologist. He's kind of digging through all of that information because honestly, it comes across like pretty heavy and pretty intense amount of information. But yeah, it's a ton of bacteria and a ton of yeast that are going on inside of Spontaneheim. But yeah, all of those flavors come across in this beer, and for me, it's really exciting. So to your point, Bell, I think, sorry, to your point, Andrew, we always just call it Bell. But to your point, Andrew, it's honestly, it's looking for more of the same flavors, but also appreciating the nuances of aging in different seasons.
Yeah, it's interesting. I definitely remember some of the early, like, tasting through some of the early first batches of this and being like, while they're still in barrel, I should clarify it, and just being like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like sour blonde, which becomes like ruse at that point. It's a little bit different, but it comes together well after some time. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely more along the lines of, and I don't want to take away from like wine producers, but more of like a wine where you do have to let it age. It's not a beer that you're going to get in 3 months or even 9 months or a year. Like you really need to let this thing age and let those sugar chains break down. Like Darren was talking about, let those chains break down over a long time and ferment properly. And that's honestly, that's what we're looking for. I'm getting a ton of stone fruit and oak, and it's not real tart either, really. Right. As far as some of the things we do, but yeah, I think I get like a lot of like orange zest, like orange pit, like an older orange, like an older fruit. like if it had been sitting around for a little bit. But
Yeah, this is awesome. This one is the first time also that this beer is available to the public, so I think that for something as exciting as this, for people to have a chance to be able to swing by and grab it. Right now, I'm doing something, guys. Sorry, everyone. But yeah, I think that a beer is unique.
They found you.
Dude, they're looking for you. He's in HB. But yeah, I mean, this beer is fantastic and so unique and such a, it really proves that we still know how to innovate and make a crazy fucking beer. Using old world tradition and kind of blending in some of the new stuff and making it ours. I have a question for Jeff before we move on. Jeff, what album would you pair this with or band?
Oh.
Yeah. Boom, dude.
There's a Scottish kind of post-punk band from the 80s called Orange Juice. I'd pair with them.
Yeah, I like that.
Good song to listen to would be Rip It Up. So rip it up and rip it up.
Rip it up, dude. Yeah, Hoarders tomorrow, Reserve Thursday, Preservation Friday, and this one is available on the 14th to the public. Should we age this? How long? Absolutely. How long? It's up to you. Get 2, get 3, find out. Let's find out how it tastes a little bit.
For this beer and a lot of bottle conditioned beers in general, they do pick up a lot of oxygen. So really it's I don't know, maybe I'll make some people mad about this, but I think it's how long the bottle cap can hold and how long the cork can hold. Not really the beer. So the beer is not the problem. It's usually the package with this. But 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, the 2019 is, I think, improved quite a bit after the first 6 months even. So it's still going strong. We haven't made these spontaneous beers long enough to really know, but I think he's right. Probably 5-6 years pretty easily. But you should definitely drink one fresh to kind of compare.
Oh yeah.
No point in aging beers if you don't know what it tastes like.
Interesting. Since we're talking about this, I think that it does have a cork, like we mentioned early on. So keep your corks wet. This is a beer you're probably going to want to store on its side or even upside down, but really in a wine storage environment. That's important. You don't want that cork drying out. It is crowned as well on top of the cork. So there's it's not so much the seal, but you don't want a dry cork when you go to open that bottle. And then see a question from Andrea and keeping in the fridge or room temperature for best flavor profile. And that's really the preference of aging, cellar temps or chill temps, 55 degrees is historical and traditional, but I would probably, just kind of throw out a very ambiguous generalized answer in that warm storage is going to accelerate aging. So warmer temperatures are going to create flavors in an accelerated manner that could end up in you could see the bottle peak when you don't expect it to. And cold temperatures are going to really, in any beer, decelerate aging. So bring reactions to a halt. And that's where I think beers like this, really, we're talking about cellar temps. So 55 to 65 degrees is appropriate. Not too hot, not too cold. Keith, Andrew, anything to add?
No, I agree 100%. I think you're right. Especially if anyone's like a home brewer, if you cool down yeast, it's gonna slow. It's gonna accelerate what it does, and it's kind of the same thing here. It's like you want to keep it like a pretty happy temperature, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Room temperature is gonna speed things up. Refrigeration is gonna slow things down.
I think this is at a pretty happy temperature right now. Next beer up, we have rhubarb. A returning favorite, definitely a favorite of mine as well. Another one out of Brewery Teru. Beautiful. Oh, the color is
Yeah, so this was fun. This is the second iteration of this. We did this once before. So this is basically we take our sour blonde base, and the difference between this one and the first time we did it is a very small difference. So we actually took the rhubarb. What's up, Victor? We took the rhubarb and actually pureed it this time, and let it sit on there. We thought there might be a little bit more extraction from the rhubarb. Rhubarb's pretty tart. If you ever had it, so it's a Midwest rhubarb. And it's also, we added some raspberries to it from our farmer friends, and it all pretty much dries out, and that's what we're left with. So the color is definitely from the raspberries. Yeah.
I remember tasting
this is another one. It's oh, sorry. Go.
I remember tasting this in sensory and thinking it was, mostly raspberry forward, but tasting it today, I am actually getting some of that sort of not quite vegetal, but rhubarby character to it, which I was kind of missing in sensory.
So I think too, I think one thing, and I brought this up in like our internal discussions, is more about like temperature serving and letting stuff warm up to a proper temperature, right? So like, mine's sitting around like 55 degrees, and I think you get that more rhubarb vegetal, like you're talking about, Andrew, right now.
Yep.
How does Keith pick the rhubarb? With his hands. With his hands. Easy. Where do we get these fruits from? Is there anyone in particular? Or?
No, to be honest, we don't. So the first time we did it, it was actually a French rhubarb. But we wanted to add more this time, and honestly, kind of stick to like more of the like a closer market. So we stuck with like a Midwestern rhubarb for this.
Yeah, the beer is pretty. Label's pretty. This is another one of the Ponce beautified ones. So yeah, package is fantastic. Beer itself is again beautiful. The base on this is sour blonde.
This is a sour blonde base, so this is going to be the base for like all of our Bruers beers. So Bruers is actually a blend of our sour blonde bases of different vintages, so it is going to be a little bit different. But yeah, it's that base.
Cool. This one, it's also on a really similar schedule as Spontanaheim. So this one's available hoarders tomorrow, reserve day after, preservation on the 8th, and then this one will be available to the public on the 14th. So it's another beer you don't have to just listen to us talk about. You can actually pop in and grab a bottle or get this thing delivered. Damn, Keith, there's a lot of talk about this picture frame.
It's only because Victor's.
If we get enough,
if
we get enough. If we get enough in the comments, maybe he'll get up and fix it.
Already.
Shout out Brian Thomas. Untapped Help Desk is in the house. Untapped Help Desk, you help us. So it's good shit. All right, here's a random question. This is, I don't know if it's a good one or a bad one. If the late great Chris Farley were to try this, what would he say or do?
Whoop-de freaking do.
I think he would.
Let me tell you a little bit about what my life is like.
I think he would.
Not too bad.
And love it and throw kicks and naughty beer.
Here we go. Cool. Anything else on rhubarb?
It's really good. I'm really good.
Very tasty. I would say this is
Really
probably
good.
one that you would, I don't know, maybe either Keith or Darren would disagree with me, but this, for me, just fruited sours in general, I like to drink fresher rather than age them. I know we usually have questions about our beers like, how long should someone keep this? I like my fruited sours fresh because the fruit expression is going to be the strongest. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I don't have all that much to say about this beer, but I do. It's more of a memory. I shortly after coming on with the brewery, and I haven't been there as nearly as long as this group has a lot of years. But I worked. I think it was a hoarders only event, and there were a few bottles of the original rhubarb that were being poured at the event, and I remember thinking, "What is this? This is just fantastic!" And it was that batch of rhubarb, That was aged, of course, at that point. But this is this tasting pretty good. So excited.
Nice. Yeah, this is great.
This is pretty great. So you guys had talked about fruit preferences, which is in beers, not aging them, drinking them fresh. You guys have any least favorite fruits while we're getting this next beer open? Is there anything you guys just will not eat?
Will not eat.
Papaya.
Yeah. Yeah?
Oh man,
Why is
grapefruit.
that? Grapefruit, really?
Really?
It's a weird. Why is that, Jeff? What is it about a papaya?
Papaya smells like a rotten foot. Can't do it.
There.
Sour and ripe pineapple coconut. Wow.
Yeah, so honestly, I think Andrew can kind of talk about the first time we did this.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Sparked this whole.
So the first time we did this, we actually did a small batch, and then we did like another slightly bigger batch, and we had these sour in the rye barrels, and we had leftover pineapple from when we were brewing 5 Golden Rings and had thrown it into these sour in the rye barrels. And then we got the beer was finished. We wanted more pineapple in it, and we want more coconut. We were initially thinking about bottling it, but the pineapple that we added back was fresh pineapple juice, and we made probably the right decision that this would be an explosive package. So we didn't bottle it. We put it in draft, and then I think Jeff could probably talk about this, but we sold an insane amount of growlers. It was, I think, still to this day, easily our quickest moving beer out of the tasting room. Like we went through a 15-room batch in like 10 days or something like that.
Yeah, I recall filling 6 growlers for individual people on multiple occasions of that beer. It was just flying out. It was hectic, to say the least. It was some of the old days in the tasting room was pretty wild. It went through a lot. I mean, it was a great beer, and I mean, I can't wait to dip into this right now. It smells fantastic. That pineapple's really coming through on there.
I know there's like this phrase isn't a thing. I think that was the first pastry sour I'd ever had. Just like
I think that would be
over the
considered a
top, like
Brucicle. I think it's considered a Brucicle.
I mean, honestly,
Razzled, I guess, kind of technically was a pastry.
same thing. Yeah, same thing.
Back sweetened at least.
Right. So we actually had this slated to come out like 2 years ago. We weren't exactly excited for it 2 years ago. The way it came out wasn't quite what we wanted. So of course we reattempted it for our Hoarder's Box beer, and we were able to actually nail what we wanted. So then we scaled it up for this release. So this is pineapple. So Andrew's talking about adding pineapple that wasn't fermented to a beer. So this, in order to package it, we actually have to let it ferment and dry out. Otherwise, the bottles will become bombs. So this is slightly different, but we really try to nail the initial time that we actually produced it. So so this is definitely some a ton of pineapple, a ton of toasted coconut, really juicy, really coconut on the nose. I'm quite happy with it. So I don't know what you guys think, but
Pina colada inspired.
Well, I don't know. That's more of a question for the people that first did it. But I personally think it's a pina colada inspired beer. I absolutely love pina coladas. Like if I have to choose like a frozen drink, that's the one for me.
Yeah. Let's stop what we're doing right here because this is a perfect segue to talk about my favorite fucking establishment to drink. What is your favorite place, all of you, to get a pina colada? Who has the best pina colada? I'll go first. Sweet Liberty, Miami, Florida. Unreal. Someone else can say that too. I'm not trying to take that one from you, Andrew, but they'll throw a Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee beans in there. So you get like a little bit of texture, you get some grit, but you also get a unique flavor, a splash of coffee syrup as well. Mind-boggling. Where's your favorite pina coladas?
3 Dots and a Dash in Chicago.
Amazing.
They make a good one.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to like a good like tiki or cocktail bar, I'm probably getting a painkiller before I'm getting a pina I like making them at home. I love the flavor combination. I'm kind of blanking. Sweet Liberty, I mean, is a pretty.
What about the Monsoon Room in Long Beach?
I heard they make a good one.
Heard of it, but
Yeah.
haven't gotten the invite yet. It seems a
Yeah, I
little.
don't think
too
they have their
soon for us.
license yet.
Maybe one day. What about you
I'm
boys?
excited to try it. One of these days, I'll get there.
What were you saying?
What's your
Evan?
favorite pina colada, Joe?
You know, I don't know if I can't say I've actually ordered a pina colada at a bar yet. I need to put that on the list. Yeah, it's not a drink I think to order, but it's definitely something that I like. I think I've only just had homemade pina coladas before.
Good answer.
Yeah, for me, I'm not. It's probably a pina colada in itself is probably not my go-to, but I'll tell you, last time I remember having one and it was pretty good was in Maui, walking up to the I lived not too far from the Big Ritz property out on the north end of the island, and they had a little walk-up bar. And shortly before my wife and I left Maui, we did a beach day, and we kept walking up to the bar for pina coladas. I almost drowned that day. The surf was pretty heavy, but that was pretty good.
I don't know about that. Oh, there he is. He heard it. To answer the other question, what do you guys think? Are you guys getting more of the coconut or more of the pineapple?
For me, I think I get more of the coconut
God,
on
it's
the
crazy balance though.
flavor.
The coconut really, I think Ryan, you'll attest, really smooths the drink on this one. And,
Ooh, smooth. Give it to the take.
yeah.
I think it's pretty
Yeah,
balanced, but
amazing.
like he said, I think coconut a little more strongly on the nose, pineapple probably a little bit more strong on the palate. But it's pretty balanced.
Yeah, it's a remarkable balance.
Good.
Considering the original one was not at all. So so over the top and so fun. Ooh.
I'll toast your
Yeah,
coconut.
Is this is toasted coconut in here? Raw coconut shredded?
Who let that guy in here again?
Yeah, I thought he was on a timeout.
I think it's a public place.
Yeah, so this is shredded coconut. So I know Darren and his team do a lot of like roasted coconuts, but this is just shredded coconut.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the application. But yeah, if you want like fresh tropical, it seems, at least in my palate, you want the raw. And if you want like toasted, well, obviously toasted. If you want like a caramelized, richer, decadent one, you toast them. Or you blend the two together, which is also great.
Which I think plays better to like the clean side beers, right? So like the Sweet Liberty, that's one we just released, right? That it's more of like is that toasted coconut, Darren? Is that right?
It's coming up. I think we're not toasting for that.
Yeah, it's going to be fresh for that one.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely do. Andrew's right. You definitely get different flavor. You know, when you some of it has to do with the kind of releasing the oils from the coconut. There's a lot of flavor and aroma there, and then obviously you get a toast flavor as well that works well in stouts and porters. But yeah, it does do kind of different things, and the other thing, just from a brewing perspective, and this is not to, I'm going to kill the party, but from a microbiological perspective, like when you're toasting the coconut, you're actually bringing it up in temperature, and you're reducing any potential contamination microbes that could be coming along for the ride in that product. So, you know, that was always an important thing to consider as well. But yeah, I agree with Andrew. It depends on what you're trying to get out of the coconut, and those toasted flavors are really good in some beers.
Agreed.
Look at that. Yayas. That last one is unfortunately not gonna make it down. That one comes out tomorrow for Hoarders Reserve Society day after. But
What do you mean
it's
not going to make it?
that is a Hoarders and Reserve exclusive.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's not gonna be bumped down the same way as the others. But Yayas, that's a different story. Look at this beer. Cheesecake and a stout. Have you guys lost your minds?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Close.
You will.
Not yet.
Soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
So,
Yeah, it's a cool one.
should we start talking about
Beautiful.
weird ingredients that we put in beer?
Yeah, right.
Oh, now we're gonna start.
Yeah. So I guess I'll take the lead on this. We've been playing around, obviously, with various pastry stouts and been, trying to track down interesting ingredients to make something taste like something else. And we've been playing around with the cheesecake concept for like pilot batches for almost 2 years now. And apparently you can get almost anything freeze dried at some point. So apparently they do make freeze dried cream cheese powder, which is a very interesting product. But yeah, we've done a couple that have had some pretty good success that were not necessarily something that we could put into a bottle or can in the past. Including we did a treatment for Firestone Walker last year that was a raspberry cheesecake version of Black Tuesday.
Dude, people lost their damn minds over that beer.
Yeah. So
that and Blueberry Pancake was such a crazy reception at that festival. Good Lord.
Yeah, I mean those were fun, but it was just something where it's like looking at people's reactions, like we can't do it like this. So we used the pilot system for what it's for, which is to try and trial something and make it stable to put in bottle or can. And we did a couple trials. We didn't put any. I don't think we sent any of them to the tasting rooms. We did one recently that will go to the tasting rooms once they reopen because it's a nitro beer and we can't growler that. But yeah, we're just trying to get the balance right on this and get it so you can taste the cream cheese, which is vital to cheesecake, taste the graham cracker, which is vital to the crust, get some raspberry flavor. And yeah, I mean, yeah, who would have thought? Dairy products, graham cracker, and raspberry puree in a beer, but I think it works.
I think so too. Yaya. I mean, maybe I'm that guy, but I had never heard that phrase before.
I don't think I had either.
Yeah, it's a Greek grandma. So cheesecake comes from the Greeks. Believe it or not, I know there was some internal discussion. Connor, our resident pastry guy, might disagree, but yeah, so it's originated from Greece, and a yaya is a Greek grandmother,
which is a play on Mima's
Mm-hmm.
sticky bun stout.
Yeah, which we did a couple months ago.
because we all love our grandmothers so much.
Yes. What
Like Gam Gams Oreo pie stout or something coming out next.
Not officially, but
Yeah, so Jeff, so how is it like right now in the tasting rooms, like working with people and seeing how they're handling like the COVID precautions? Is it interesting seeing people come in and still want to try beers or what?
Yeah, it's I want to say thanks to everybody who's been coming in still and who's been ordering beers for deliveries, because that's been great. Thanks for supporting us all and all getting through this. And it's been a little odd, definitely, working every day and having those chairs up on the tables and the bar and everything. But honestly, yeah, the first couple of weeks were kind of scary. Didn't really know what was going on, but it's it's kind of like the new normal that we're living in, and people are still coming in, still excited about the beers that we've got. They've been really good to ask us for our opinions and recommendations on stuff coming out, and everybody's been doing the staff of the taste room's been killing it. Everybody, the delivery service has been awesome. It's been actually kind of fun, all things considered, but really new experience. But it's been a good time.
Would you say that you miss? Would you say you miss everyone? You
Oh,
miss
definitely.
pouring
Yeah.
them a beer and watching them drink it and
Oh, I can't.
cleaning up after them, and maybe even telling them you've had too many.
Oh yeah, I miss cutting people off so badly. I can't wait to have everybody come back and
Too back, yeah.
be able to, like serve beer to people in the tasting room.
Who's your top 5 people you're missing right now from the tasting room?
Oh, dope.
Society
All right,
staff.
next question. Next question.
I can't name names right now.
Yeah, you're a wild man.
Yeah.
But even deliveries though we have been cranking on the delivery front as well. So I think it's so cool to see like all the same faces. If you order beers, it's very likely going to be the person that served you the last time you were in the tasting room, ringing your doorbell, dropping that thing off. So it's
Who's the bottom?
Who's the bottom 5? All right, now we've really
I
got to
think
go to the
4
next
of us
question.
are on the screen.
I'm coming back. I'm back.
Yeah, suit back. I love that. So, Joyride. Wow. Can you go for one?
Yeah, I need to get that one.
This is another beer. Like the concept, we've kind of played with the idea before. Really cool to see that it's actually been executed in such like a beautiful format too. Another Ponce original.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So for
Yeah,
this
it's a
one,
beautiful package.
we have made this beer under a different name, not the Baller Can, but basically we kind of made the decision last year to make some single barrel treatments on the pilot system to kind of showcase us at festivals, especially a lot of the festivals we go to. Thankfully there's a lot of society members there. We thank you for that. But if we just brought random society beer that they've had before, there's no reason. Well, I shouldn't say no reason, but there's less incentive for them to come visit us, try our beers, because they probably have had everything, so they're rushing out. They haven't had beer from. So we made a couple one-offs, and this is one that stuck. We did a barrel of So Happens It's Tuesday and treated it like an Almond Joy. I think we had it at Weldworks last year, their Invitational, and a couple others, and just got amazing feedback on it. And I think the flavors just work so well together.
Oh, it's a beautiful beer.
Yeah, so cacao nibs, cocoa powder, coconut, almonds, a little bit of vanilla extract in it as well, and it pops.
Yeah, this is. I mean, the combination here is, and I've said this before, but Andrew, like a lot of what you do is finding that combination of flavors and ratio. In other words, it isn't difficult to mix almonds and chocolate and coconut into a barrel aged beer, right? The difficult part is finding that layered ratio process wise, what we're gonna do. And this beer, to me, it doesn't. We were just talking about coconut. I get a little bit of coconut, up front, but it's that coconut nutty flavor when you take a bite. That's that Almond Joy.
Mm-hmm.
And Almond Joy doesn't taste like coconut, almond, and chocolate separately. It tastes like the combination of all of those. And that is what I'm getting out of this beer. And to me, that's the impressive part about it. It's really interesting.
Yeah, no, I think
You guys ever had a frozen Almond Joys?
yeah, they hurt my teeth sometimes.
Dude.
They're too frozen.
Break 'em.
To answer the question down below, no, this is another fresh coconut, sort of in the similar flavor vein. If anyone had the Samoa Black Tuesday, that's toasted coconut with also chocolate. That one didn't have almonds, obviously, but kind of getting the difference in flavors. Like Almond Joys very much taste like their flavor in them is of fresh coconut versus something like a Samoa cookie is more of a toasted caramelized coconut thing. So
This beer's 15%.
15, yeah.
Sweet
Scary.
Sessions.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Joyride ABV, Joyride song. Jeff, what would you? You're going on a little joyride. Car's yours, car's not yours. Who cares?
Free ride.
Riding, baby.
Free ride.
Free ride. All right.
Then you sing along and you just substitute the name. Come on, take a joy ride.
Yeah,
Weird.
right.
Didn't we have we had some alternate names for this beer, that were somewhat loosely based on the Ride That Goat, Ride That Bear series, but none of them passed muster.
They didn't pass muster. They didn't pass HR.
Both.
Fair enough.
Not good. So if we were to re-record that song tomorrow, Jeff, is that something we'd have to be in fear of a lawsuit, or are we well within our rights to re-record it, the brewery team?
I feel like we
start releasing albums.
We could possibly get by with
Parody.
Yeah. So I think it'd be okay.
No, what's wrong with it? Yeah, good man. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Any other questions on Joyride? I feel like this one, out of all the beers that we've had so far, this is probably the easiest to just sit there and close your eyes, dream about it. And it's probably the easiest to imagine. Yeah, the flavors are exactly as described. Whereas like something like Spontanaheim, like you really, really need that thing to open.
I think too. I think like
that tastes like a candy bar.
Kind of get wrapped up in like sour beers and like wild fermentations, and it's awesome to taste some of these products. Before all this went down, I was tasting these products on a pretty consistent basis. Where like now it's like, if we need a taste, if I need to go over there, if I need to like try anything, I will. But this is fantastic. I think this is really good. Like, well done.
Awesome.
Yeah, did you guys see the original artwork on this one?
I'm sure
I did.
Yeah.
What'd you think? It was the first iteration of artwork on this one was lowrider themed.
Oh, that's right.
Whereas this is just straight candy bar artwork. Like absolutely, you got to lock this one up. Where's that camera? You got to lock this one up because if the kids get a hold of this, they're gonna open it.
Well, it doesn't even say contains alcohol. Oh no!
It's 15.
All right, now we're in trouble.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of saved the best one for last, at least in terms of the most brewery of all of these. This is the one I'm so excited for, and beers like this, and items like this, a little bottle hat. This thing will be wearing a hat in no time. Yeah. Last one up. This is the Swa Reserve. I guess before we get past it, the Joyride, that one is a Porters and Reserve exclusive as well. So order tomorrow, Reserve Society day after.
I am really pumped for this one. I'm a huge fan of our anniversary beers, so I'm really stoked to try this one out. I've had a chance to sample just the regular Swa, and I thought that was fantastic too. So this is going to be.
Dome it, Jeff. Dome it.
I guess the real question with this one that I'm kind of dying to know is, do you guys think this would be good for like a beer float?
No.
That's next week's show. That's next week's show.
He's like, Darren's offended.
This is a serious beer. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. You're already putting ice cream in it.
Oh,
that's true.
That's a winner. He's a winner.
Yeah, so I mean,
who wants to talk about this beer? Not Ryan.
I was gonna say, yeah. I could talk about Silk.
I'm kidding, of course, to a degree, but there is this is it's been a fun project, and it is a serious beer. Reserve, for those members that know what reserve means, reserve for us typically means the beer has seen two barrels. And that's, I think that's important. We don't take it lightly at the brewery. Black Tuesday Reserve. If you're familiar with that beer, you know how different it is from Black Tuesday, and we do a Black Tuesday Grand Reserve, and that's seen 3 barrels, sometimes different original spirit in those barrels, and that's kind of what we're looking at here, and kind of want to let everyone else talk about it, but obviously SWA and Silk in French. It's our anniversary beer this year, and we committed to doing a reserve version of it, which we thought would be a fun extension of the Black Tuesday naming convention. We came across some barrels, some Madeira barrels that we thought would really complement this beer in particular. And then it's also a little bit of a callback, and this is where I'm hoping, Andrew and Jeff and Keith and Ryan can speak to some of the anniversary variants that have been done in the past in different barrels for members, and there is that callback to using a Madeira barrel as a finishing barrel for this beer, and yeah, I don't know, pick it up, guys. I mean, that's what's going on here. It's fantastic too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Before we get in too deep, Jonathan, this is a Hoarders exclusive, whereas everything else we have featured will be available to Reserve Society, and then a fair amount of these making it to public as well. But yeah, this one is a Hoarders exclusive.
Yeah. So getting to the beer, obviously, cheers. Our old ale we've been just making every single year, and it's really been flavor-wise. It's always been focused on sort of melanoidin production, like sort of caramel toasted characters, and then we usually put it down in bourbon barrels and put in a portion of Solera barrel aged beer, which is beer that we've basically from the original batch have set aside a portion and use that, combine that together and created something so that those portion of barrels, I'm doing a horrible job at explaining this, those barrels have had some of the liquid in there is from 2008. Anyway, back to this one. So we take our standard anniversary beer, age it for a year in bourbon barrels, and then put it into new Madeira barrels, and that gives such a different flavor to me. It really emphasizes the sort of fruit character to it from the esters that are in the base beer, and it on the palate has a lot of vanilla, nuttiness, and tannin that you don't normally get with the bourbon barrel version. It really elevates it quite a bit. And getting back to what Darren was saying, I think it was Sucre. What was that, 5th or 6th year? We did 6 or 7 different barrel variants. One of them being Madeira, but that was just strictly, stainless steel fermented out and then put directly into Madeira barrels. It didn't spend a year in bourbon first.
I think it was 2014. Was that?
Sounds about sounds about right. 2013 or 2014, yeah. And it's just, I don't know. This just has such incredible complexity. I don't know. I'll let the other guys talk about it.
I think one thing to call out on this that is still, I've worked here for almost 5 years, and it's still so remarkable to me that we print on there, SWA will age gracefully for decades when cellared properly. Not just SWA, but I mean all of our anniversary beers. Who else does that? That is something that is so remarkable and so unique to what we do, that these beers are so big and beautiful. And this thing tastes fantastic right now.
Oh, yeah.
But there is no doubt in my mind that you can open this thing 10 years from now and blow the pants off someone,
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me.
I haven't granted the first, 3 years, the standard anniversary release was at that time a blend of stainless and fresh beer. We did do 100% barrel variants, but those were very, very limited. I think for the first year for Papier, it was 1 per person, and I think they made 160 bottles of each. But yeah, I have yet to taste one of our anniversary beers that tasted over the hill to me. I haven't. Same thing with Senior Black Tuesday. I haven't tasted one that's been over the hill, even though we've been making it since 2009. I have tasted 2009 Black Tuesday, and it still tastes phenomenal. But yeah, I think you'll probably lose a little bit of the nuances of the Madeira barrel given time on this, but it will just meld together and create something that's even more interesting, more complex. You won't get the distinct fortified wine note that you do with it fresh. But I'd be surprised if this beer in a decade wasn't anything short of amazing.
Yeah, and I think seeing just to clarify, because I don't know if we actually said it. Seeing the question right now from Chris. So the difference between SWA and SWA Reserve. So SWA is our normal anniversary Solera process where we brew our anniversary old ale. It's barrel aged for typically 1 year in bourbon, and then blended in the Solera method. So Andrew kind of said it already, but
job describing.
no, well. Essentially, we always have anniversary Solera aging in the barrel cellar, and every year, a portion of that is pulled out and goes in and gets bottled, and that is the anniversary beer. And then the remaining portion gets blended with what we brew, and that goes back down to barrel. So what you have is you have a continuous blending process in the aging cellar that it compounds over years. So what that adds is it adds nuance, it adds change, it adds lots of work for us, but it's well worth it. And what you have with SWA Reserve is a portion of that anniversary Solera that we actually set aside because if a few of you remember when we released Attain, it was the first year we went. This beer was available public and distribution for a couple years. We actually pulled that back, and with that extra planned volume that we did not release to public, it allowed us to build up that Solera portion and method again in our cellars. So a portion of that went down into a double barrel, which is 2 years of aging. The second year spent in Madeira, and that's what we're trying right now. So that SWA Reserve is our anniversary blend beer that saw part of its aging in bourbon per normal, per expected, and then the remainder of its aging in a Madeira barrel, and there you have it. So it is complex. It is hard to understand. Sometimes we scratch our heads ourselves, saying, "Okay, we got to get this right. We got to manage this cellar," but we think it's well worth it. I mean, this beer, if you taste this side by side with SWA, which released last month, the anniversary beer, you will see the difference, and it's wonderful to see how the same beer from a brewing method perspective can be influenced by more age, a different look at a different barrel, and things like that, and that's what we get excited about.
Yeah, I think too. I think just the amount of like you're saying, a portion of this has been blended back, but a portion of this has also hit 11 different barrels. I mean, you're not just talking about the beer, you're talking about the barrel as well. So, I mean, I don't know of any alcoholic beverage that hits 10 to 11 different barrels.
Yeah. And just, I'm sure people have asked over time, we usually target around 15% of an anniversary blend to that Solera method. And one of the fun things that I at least appreciated about a little known fact, there might be one person in the comments who knows it, but on our old brew house, the malt bill equaled the brewing year. So back in like 2013, the malt bill was 2,013 pounds. It doesn't really equate with our new brew house, but I thought that was always kind of fun. A little backstory, I guess.
Right. What is so perplexing to me is this beer has like all of that toffee caramel water like kind of thing you'd expect from our anniversary beers, but then it picks up like this dark fruit, oaky, vanilla Madeira flavor without being syrupy. You know, it doesn't actually have any of the body of the wine that really makes it over to the beer to take it to that crazy over the top syrupy level. I mean, it drinks so easily.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one thing about especially our legacy beers of the anniversary of Black Tuesday. We used to have this reputation back in the day that we made really, really sweet beers, but both Black Tuesday and Anniversary are very, very, very dry beers. they kind of have a sweetness because of their ethanol content, but they are very dry beers, and it's sort of a balance of ethanol and bitterness levels that kind of make it seem sweet or not sweet. But yeah, this has a really cool, nice balance, especially with that oak tannin as well, kind of playing with it.
Jeff, you want to take this question, run with it, and we'll follow your lead?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it since I saw it. It changes all the time. What's that, Keith?
Since you were born? I've been thinking about this question since I was born.
Yeah, I've been waiting for someone to ask me this question. I don't know, man. A beer like this is pretty fantastic. It's very complex, deep, epic flavor. My favorite band ever is a band from Canada called Godspeed You Black Emperor, and I would definitely listen to them while I was drinking this. I'd probably drink the entire bottle, and it'd probably take the amount of time to listen to one of their songs, about 30 minutes sometimes. But I don't know, man. Like I said earlier, orange juice for the Spontanaheim. Yeah, I don't know.
What about top three? Top three? We could do. I couldn't do one. I could do three. I could pick three.
I can do one.
You can do one. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Godspeed for this beer because that's fantastic. It's my favorite band ever. Seen them 14 times, and I'd drink this bottle 14 times easily.
So I think I'd like to dissect the question a little bit. So it's while you're sipping on a beer, right? So typically I sip on beers at the end of the night after I've already had like a bunch of beers. I'm just sipping on my last beer. And I think a beautiful album is The Bodyguard from Whitney Houston. And every song on there is killer to drink a beer to. So that's how I'm going.
It's so good. It's so good.
Like, hands down. Even though Damien at True disagrees with that. He thinks Mariah Carey has the best voice. I disagree. It's Whitney.
I'd say Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Fight me.
That's good. That's good.
I'm a White Album guy.
White Album?
Oh yeah, Beatles. Come on.
Nice.
I named my kid Jude.
Oh, yeah.
This is true.
Hey, Jude. What about you, Andrew?
I don't know. And not necessarily to drink with this beer, but I do like when I'm doing some beer drinking. I do like listening to Clutch, just in general. I don't know, maybe more generic than what everyone else has said so far, but they're a pretty fun band to drink to.
Which Melvins album would you listen to while drinking this beer, Andrew?
Ooh. What was that? Compachi? Isn't that the name of that? What? Yeah, the one that has Houdini, the song Houdini on it.
I think that's the album Houdini.
Oh, there you go.
The whole album. The whole album.
Yeah, I thought it was Capaci, but whatever. I don't know. I'm trying. All the
without thinking about it, The Dead. Just put on like one of the live shows.
Grateful Dead was your answer?
Yeah. Probably for not really thinking about it, for just fits every single situation. I think like the fucking grooviest far and away is the Todd Terry, Scandinavian disco music, but that's not always the most appropriate, favorite beer, favorite barrel to age beer in. I'm a fan of cognac and apple brandy.
I like tequila barrels. They're weird. I like it.
Damn. Oh, here we go.
That's one for
Roble Blanco or Liter Cola?
Roble Blanco all day.
You like shots of that beer.
I love that beer.
Only in shots, though.
Yeah, you have to drink it. I think it was mislabeled. It should have been labeled as a tequila shot beer rather than a margarita beer. Do that beer, drink it in shots throughout and oh my god, it's good.
Not at work. Definitely not at work.
No. While I'm listening to
The Bodyguard.
Godspeed. Yeah.
Listening to Godspeed, I do that. That's more of like a. Oh man, let me think here. That'd be great. I'd be like like Bad Brains or something like that. I would just listen to Bad Brains and just make an entire bottle of Roble Blanco. That sounds good. Give me a lot of
Do you want to
peanuts.
sing us a Godspeed song? Is that even possible?
No,
Yeah, it's possible.
Sing it.
It's possible.
not
All right,
really.
favorite beer to age barrels
Possible,
in.
but not wise.
Gin.
Back to the
Gin
hot
barrels.
question.
Gin barrel.
Gin.
Yeah. Interesting.
Gin's pretty cool.
Gin's pretty cool. Flavor wise for like clean beer, bourbon or rye whiskey. As far as like actually dealing with the barrels, like any sort of French oak wine barrel, like those barrels are solid.
What's the barrel that Glen Wart is in?
Those are
Ooh. LaCroix.
classic Scotch barrels, yeah.
Those are good. Those are pretty good.
for you two. For you two.
Yeah, Smoky
That
Boys.
beer's good.
Smoky Boys.
I love the smoke.
I
I love the smoke.
I don't know. I don't like smoking my beer real much. That might be heresy, but I had too many bad experiences brewing and smoking wood that, yeah, I don't know.
I can see how
Hellas Pills.
that would leave a.
But Rukeller Pills, possibly, Chris?
Hellas pills.
That's a Darren question. I'm going to sit this one out. Darren, Rukeller Pills. That's what that's
Is he talking about Rukeller Hellas or Rukeller Pills?
I'm assuming it's
I'm assuming it's
Yeah,
the
we're
Pills.
well. I think we can. Well, so yeah, the Rue Keller, just try and keep it quick, but Rue Keller is kind of our moniker, if you will, ahead of the lager series that we're trying to keep really clean and traditional, and Hellas was the winner at it. We did three lagers last year that all went to the tasting room draft only, and a Hellas, Pils, and Meritzen. Meritzen having been brewed before by Andrew on the pilot system, and so Hellas was the candidate to go to a can to be a little bit more widely available this year. But we are at the end of May, really for June 1, releasing Rue Keller Pilsner. And it's the same beer that we produced for draft for the tasting rooms last year. It's seasonal. It will be a small drop. It's going to be publicly available, but not to distribution. So through our tasting rooms, through our online sales, pretty small batch. But then on draft for the rest of summer, assuming we're ever allowed to give somebody a pint again. And then in September, in the fall, you'll be seeing our Rue Keller Meritzen. So Rue Keller is the line, if you will, of these traditional lagers, and those are the beers that we plan on releasing again this year. So Pilsner's nice. It's not incredibly different from a drinking perspective as the Hellas is. It's also a light and body beer. We'll see the same type of pouring style, but it's a little bit more ABV and a little bit more of that noble hop bite. And Andrew and I actually talked a little bit, from last year's Pils, we actually wanted a little bit more hop character. So there was a slight tweak there, and I think it's going to be a really nice beer. And because of the current events and the draft beer situation, where we're not allowed to, and for good reason, we're not allowed to, sit out at the pubs and the beer gardens. We're going to shift that production into cans so that you can enjoy that batch at home or wherever you'd like. So that's what's going on with that.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, really. It's an awesome decision to can that, and then I think it was a pretty awesome decision to fix that picture frame in the back too. I think that showed a lot of people out. So thank you, Keith, for doing that. Thanks, Darren, for shifting production in a way that works for us. Something to leave everyone with. What do you guys think? Something you've been working on at home that you are proud of since pandemic started. Who wants to go first? Whether it's a new hobby, something in a dish you perfected, maybe you've been making a lot of curated playlists?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I'm doing. I'm making a lot of playlists lately, so all the music that talks been really fun for me. But if you guys want to follow me on Spotify, you can go to Jeff_noise, and I'm cranking out, trying to do like 2 a week, usually at least 2 hours long. I've been pretty pumped on them. I hope you are too. But on top of that, before we sign off too, I want to say again, thanks to everybody who's coming in the tasting rooms a lot and ordering ordering stuff for deliveries. It's been awesome. Driving stuff out to you guys and selling stuff to everybody. Being able to see people if we can. I can't wait to serve you guys beer again when this is all over.
Yeah, and thank you, Jeff, because you guys have, on the brewing side, we've had to do some things differently, but we have not had to change our whole mindset on what our job is. And you guys have just evolved, and it's something that's been brought up in other discussions, but we're incredibly proud as a company to be able to shift gears and leverage the customer base and the fans that we have. And you guys have shifted gears to try and get them the beer. So thank you.
Yeah, we got a great crew. Everybody who's working in the taste rooms is awesome, and they've all been, and in societies as well. Everybody's been really, willing to adjust and make things work for us and for everybody. It's been awesome. It's good when you have like a great squad behind you. So like we have the whole company is great, and to speak on from what I know most familiarly is that our tasting room crew is no exception. We're doing awesome things. And
I think it's awesome to like see any of the tasting room staff and all of them have a big smile on their face, and even if it's behind a mask, you can still see that smirk come out to the side, and it's beautiful. So
Sure.
great.
Yeah,
job.
I mean the delivery radius is insane. Just to reiterate, I mean, if you were in Southern California, and I say that like very, very loosely, San Diego County excluded, but I mean, we're going as far down as Laguna. We're doing, Portola Hills, Coto de Caza, and then we're going all the way up as far as Santa Monica, and it is easier than ever to get these beers. So what are you waiting for?
Yeah, and even if we can't deliver to you, if we're just outside your postal code.
Next day shipping?
Yeah, next day shipping.
Pickup, same day pickup?
I mean,
it's pretty cheap too, right? Honestly, I don't even know the price, but it's like, I think Daniel was on earlier. He's our marketing director, and he was saying, I think it was like $15. He say $15. Like, I mean, that's incredible. Like, I don't know, that's really cheap.
For what the merchandise is and the way we pack it, like for compared to the price, I've sent some beer to friends inside of California, a friend in San Diego, and some up north, and there's worse things. Tell you that much.
Jeff's been curating playlists. Keith, Andrew, Darren, what have you guys been up to? What are you proud of?
Been making biscuits, dude. I've been making some buttermilk biscuits that are bomb.
biscuits.
Yeah. The key is you have to freeze the butter.
Yeah.
You have to grate it.
You
have to grate it
cannot
first.
give your
And then
secrets
you got to
away.
freeze it.
Yeah, you need that temperature differential. If it gets too warm, you're not going to get that flakiness.
And then add a bunch of extra butter. Don't worry about the recipes. Just add more butter.
You make some vegan biscuits for me, dude?
No. Do I look vegan?
What you guys?
For me, this is gonna sound super cheesy, but it's true. It's I've 2 young kids, and being around them more it's hard, but it's actually been cool. I think they actually like me now.
Oh man. I don't have too much to say. So as far as people keep talking about cooking projects, my wife and I cook at home very regularly and are very comfortable with that and do pretty extensive cooking projects on a regular. So I wouldn't say that. I don't know. I've been running a bit more than I usually do.
Nice.
Have you bought like any new kitchen toys you're excited about?
No, we have all the kitchen toys that we kind of want.
I just got a Ninja Foodie. Sick.
The one thing I will say, and this is even way cheesier than Darren's, is I have this beard that I hate right now, and I'm not going to shave it until I can have a beer in the tasting rooms with customers in. That's my goal.
Oh, I like that.
And as soon
Damn, I like that.
the day I have that Rukeller Hellas or whatever it is in the tasting room with guests, that's the day this thing goes away. Like I can't stand this.
In the tasting room for St. Baldrick's.
I just want this.
Damn.
It's
Yeah,
I don't want to say it's a protest, but it's a quarantine beard.
I would love that. I mean, shit. I'll hey, if you shave, I'll completely shave my mustache off with you.
You should do that tonight. You should do that tonight.
Just do it right now. Let's keep this thing running for another hour or so. Yeah, it's like same as like a playoff beard, you know, but it's like
exactly. It's a rally beard.
waiting. Yeah, even worse.
Rally beards. It's when you lose, you shave, right? This will be when we win.
When we win, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Found like the craziest hobby kind of in rediscovering like old nostalgia. So I used to love, like when I was a kid, like a lot of MS-DOS games, like really simple, like point click action, like action adventure, kind of just fucking Leisure Suit Larry, Full Throttle, kind of like open door, look room, kind of just really simple stuff. And found the other day, just messing around on the PlayStation, that within like 3 clicks, you can stream what you're doing on Twitch or YouTube, and was just filming, broadcasting like the most boring thing you've ever seen, no headset, no interaction of any kind, and got myself like 13 viewers watching it. So then next thing I know, I like have this whole like streamer persona. So keep an eye out. I'll be live on Twitch going soon. I'll keep you guys posted. Ridiculous, but no, cooking for sure. But man, just like really rediscovering like the most simple video games of all time. Shit from the late 80s, early 90s.
Nice.
So Ryan, I think there's a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you gut your hair since this started?
No, I got the gut. I don't got the cut.
I haven't either.
No, not at all. Probably won't anytime soon.
I saw P Money's question earlier. Do you sous vide? Yes, like multiple times a week. So
a little long, but not too long yet.
Oh,
Not too bad.
You can rock.
All right, what do we think? We gonna call it for a little more Swell Reserve for when we're done?
I don't know. I'm taking the Joyride right now too. Like Swell Reserve's awesome, but Joyride's just
Hey, take a Joyride and take it easy. You know.
Yeah,
Slow
Joyride's
down.
good session style. You know.
yeah,
Yeah, totally. 15%. Boys,
Cheers.
thank you.
Thanks
Hope to see you
everybody
guys.
for joining.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining in. Thanks everyone for helping us out, supporting tasting rooms, local delivery, society members. You have these beers to look forward to tomorrow. And yeah, like I said, we got a majority of these coming out on the 14th. Quick plug, Offshoot 3. We got the 3rd anniversary of Offshoot coming up this month as well. I mean, this is a crazy loaded month for us. While we got everyone, Offshoot 3, what do we have to look forward to?
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Damn.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you guys.